forest, where the only sound is roaring engines and screaming chainsaws. We're not just cutting wood, we're fighting a battle with every massive tree. Blood, sweat, and sawdust. Welcome to the world of chainsaws. Welcome to the world of Wood Channel. The push wedge is driven into the base of the tree like a silent weapon. Each forceful crank lifts the heavy trunk off the forest floor. The chainsaw roars, its sharp blade slicing through the timber with the ease of a hot knife through butter. Sawdust bursts into the air like smoke from every decisive strike. In the middle of a snowy forest, a worker wearing thick protective gear used a chainsaw to cut deep into a large tree covered in ice. Each cut echoed in the cold air, sending sawdust and snow flying everywhere. Each motion is careful and controlled. The branch starts to crack, just moments before it gives way and drops to the ground. He stays calm, focused, and ready for the next cut. Balancing high above the ground, the worker cuts through the thick branch with steady hands. Sawdust falls as the saw hums, a risky job done with skill. A group of workers are cutting down a giant burnt tree in the forest. In a forest blanketed with snow, the ground lies silent and untouched, like a blank canvas. The lumberjack stands firm in the cold, his chainsaw gripped tightly, its gleaming blade waiting for the call to action. A measuring tape hangs at his waist, a symbol of precision and experience. Every cut is calculated, every movement deliberate. With practiced strength, the saw bites down in exact intervals, each strike placing the blade exactly where it needs to be. Sawdust scatters into the air, and a faint mist rises from the frozen timber as it's sliced in the winter chill. Round, uniform log sections begin to emerge, perfectly spaced, perfectly shaped, the product of discipline, mastery, and a deep respect for the craft. A lumberjack steps into the forest, armed with the powerful steel MS-362 chainsaw. With calm precision, he begins to cut into the tree's trunk. The roar of the engine echoes through the woods as sawdust flies. Each move is skillful, ensuring the tree falls safely in the planned direction. This is the strength and mastery of a seasoned professional at work. In the damp jungle, a worker was cutting into a large tree covered in green dragon moss. The chainsaw roared, the blade cutting through the moldy bark. Moss flew in the wind, the tree shook as it prepared to fall. The worker was wearing full protective gear, including a reflective vest, gloves, and a helmet. He stood firmly next to the large tree, holding the roaring chainsaw firmly in his hand. Each powerful, precise cut sent sawdust flying, and the tree shook slightly with each cut. In the dense and quiet forest, a worker wearing a hard hat faced a huge tree trunk, then started the chainsaw. The sound was loud. Each cut was decisive. The saw blade was deeply cut into the solid wood. Sawdust flew up. After a few tense minutes, the tree trunk began to shake, tilted, and fell into the deep forest with a loud bang. Chainsaws tear into the towering trunks like beasts unleashed on prey. Trees that have stood tall for centuries fall one after another, cracking and crashing with primal force. The air trembles, the scent of fresh cut wood fills the scene, and the forest holds its breath as giants collapse before the cold steel fury.
Robert!
One by one, massive trees crash to the ground under the fierce roar of the chainsaw, swift, clean, and unstoppable. Every cut strikes the heart of the forest, shaking the earth beneath. A loud crack pierces the air as each trunk gives way, collapsing like a fallen giant. The tree starts to tilt, and for a moment, time seems to freeze. He steps back, eyes locked on the swaying giant. A single gust of wind could send it crashing the wrong way, bringing chaos or even death. Then, a thunderous crack. The tree plunges into the abyss, smashing into the canyon below. Dust and splinters erupt like an explosion. Yet he stands firm, calm, unmoved, like a warrior who just won a silent battle. This is the spirit of the forest worker, fearless, focused, forged in the fires of danger. middle of a dense forest, a forester cuts down a tall tree with a chainsaw. As the tree falls, its trunk hits neighboring trees, creating a spectacular domino effect. In the heart of the dense forest, the chainsaw roars to life. With precision and power, it slices through the thick trunk of a towering tree. Sawdust flies, the blade spins relentlessly, and nature echoes with the sound of machinery. This moment captures the raw force of man and machine working deep in the wilderness.
Pozor!
Two men step forward, each gripping a roaring chainsaw. Engines growl, a challenge to quit. The race begins. Loud, sharp cuts echo as wood splits apart. Neither backs down, each stroke fierce, each move precise. A tall, massive tree towers in the forest. A wedge is hammered into its trunk, a foothold for the lumberjack. The chainsaw growls to life, revving, biting. Bit by bit, the blade carves deeper, slicing through decades of saw. A worker stands next to an uprooted tree in the middle of the forest. He dons protective gear, starts the chainsaw, and begins cutting through the massive tree. Each cut is powerful and decisive, the sound of the saw echoing through the wilderness. The lumberjack moves swiftly along the fallen trunk, like a skilled dancer in the forest. In his hands, the sharp chainsaw becomes a precise tool, slicing off excess branches in seconds. The engine roars, and the branches fall cleanly, like a surgeon's cut, quick and deliberate. No wasted motion. Every step reflects the confidence of a seasoned professional. The chainsaw roars to life, its engine growling through the forest like a beast awakened. The sharp blade spins with fury, a declaration of its unstoppable power. In the hands of the operator, it lunges toward the massive tree trunk with focused precision. Each cut slices clean through the thick wood. Within moments, the once imposing trunk is carved apart. Neatly, brutally, a powerful display of man and machine working as one.
Got his crosshairs on it. He's going for the shot. Right in the hole. He sees it. It's running. It's running. Look at that. Not bad at all.
With each push of the saw, the branch weakens. One wrong move could be dangerous, but he makes it look effortless. Flames wrapped around the tree, glowing orange and red like ghostly ribbons in the wild. The young man, rather than fearing it, seemed to dance with danger itself. Each swing of the axe landed sharply, but the scorched trunk gripped the blade like it refused to let go. One strike, and the axe was stuck, frozen in place. He struggled, pulled hard, every muscle tense just to free it. The fire still burned, and the game with flames was far from over. Close-up of the worker's strong hands gripping the handle of the steel chainsaw. The engine roars, the saw blade digs deep into the old wood. Sawdust flies everywhere. Each cut is powerful and precise. This isn't your average tree cut. This is a battle against a twisted root ball and rock-hard soil. The operator moves in on the base, where kickback danger lurks with every pull of the trigger. The saw roars, dirt flies, and roots coil like hidden claws beneath the earth. The deeper the cut, the higher the risk. Double the danger, double the tension, because one wrong move, and that saw could strike back in the blink of an eye. A worker in the deep forest used a chainsaw to cut down the trunk of a pine tree. The saw blade screeched, sawdust flew, the tree shook and then crashed to the ground. The massive log is lifted onto a sturdy steel platform, like laying a giant onto an industrial operating table. This setup not only secures the log, but elevates it to the perfect height, where the saw blade can strike with maximum efficiency and precision. A thick layer of snow blankets the timber, reflecting the pale light of the winter forest. But in the hands of a skilled worker and under the power of a razor-sharp chainsaw, the frozen log is quickly segmented into evenly sized rounds. With each piercing scream of the blade, the wood yields smoothly, clean cuts made with force and finesse, as if even the frost must surrender to steel and human will. The chainsaw screams with a cold edge. In seconds, the blade tears into the log. No hesitation, just one decisive cut. The timber snaps and crashes down with force. The worker hung high in the air, using a chainsaw to trim a large tree branch. A strong wind blew across the tree, causing the leaves to shake violently. After cutting, he carefully lowered the branch with a rope, keeping his balance in the swaying space in the sky.